Okay, today the goal is to be able to connect the data that you're going to see here. So you're going to basically cut your cards up into three sections, and I want you to be able to take the data, which gives you the mean and the median, and then the spread, and with that information, you are going to take and find the appropriate histogram with the appropriate box plot. So what you are going to want to do is, after this video, you're going to want to cut your cards up and put them into three piles. One pile is going to be your data, one pile is going to be your histograms, and one pile is going to be your box plots. Okay, so that's how everything's organized. Now, let me kind of walk you through the process that you're going to be doing to attempt to match these things up. So I'm going to move these cards around kind of with and model the thinking process that I would go through. I think the first thing that I would try to do is find items that are skewed in one particular direction. So, for example, I know that this one here is going to be skewed left. Okay, so I'm going to have some that are skewed left. So I'm going to put that here. And then I might have some that are skewed right. I guess I should switch that around. That would make a little bit more sense. So let's actually kind of then keep our ones that are a little more symmetric in this column. The ones that are skewed left in this column, and then the ones that are skewed right. And I am just going to be addressing the data right now. So I'm not going to be messing with this whole section of histograms and box plots yet. So with this second problem, I see that it's 49.4 and 50. You know, I'm going to put that here, but that is really pretty close together, so I'm not sure if that's going to end up being very skewed or mostly symmetric. Now here, the mean is lower than the median, so I'm going to put that in my skewed left section. So I think I actually just kind of like hold off on that one. This one also is not very much different, so it may go here. It may, those ones that are not very different, I might consider putting them into the symmetric category. This is 49.4 and 50. So it is 49.4 and 50, not very far away from each other. Same thing with this card here, 50.08 and 50. So those are going to be pretty close. So I think that because of that, I actually may go ahead and stick those here, just anticipating that those may be considered the symmetric parts. Okay, so then I'll just keep on going through my list and comparing the means to the medians. Here's a mean that is higher than the median, so I think that's going to be in my skewed right. Okay, let's check this one out. Oh, this one is very much larger. Mean is very much larger than the median, so that's going to be in my skewed right. This mean is 50.32 and the median is 50. Those are pretty close together, so that one may be a little bit more on the symmetric side. So I'm going to put that right there for now. Here I have the 52.32 and then the 67 versus 40 versus 74. So this card number 8 has quite a bit more, quite a bit smaller mean and median, so that would be skewed left. And then here's another problem that is not incredibly different. You know, just 7/10 of a difference between the mean and the median. So, you know, I'm not really sure if these are going to end up being on the left or on the symmetric. But I definitely have two very left skewed problems here. Card number 1 and card number 8, and then two very right skewed problems, card number 4 and card number 5. Okay, so now once I have identified that, I'm going to now address my histograms. And so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to start you know, I'll go ahead and set these in these columns. So I know that one is right. This one is tail left. Let's go ahead and stick this there for now. And so on. You know, so I can see this one is left. This one looks a little bit more kind of not skewed. This one also looks a little more not skewed. I also am not real sure about that one being very skewed, if anything, maybe. This one looks skewed right. So it does kind of appear as though I've got definitely two that are skewed left, two that are skewed right, and then I'm going to have to be kind of addressing these ones that are more middle of the road. Okay, now let's look at these box plots. Okay, so we want to address what's going on here. So let's look at this first card, card A. So here, of course, we have our median. Now, look at this. I can tell that there is much more of a spread in this half of the data than this half right here. So I have this section right here is got much more condensed data. So I would have taller histograms. Okay, this section is more spread out, more varied. So I'm going to have smaller histogram values there. So I'm going to have smaller histogram values there. Okay, so I'm pretty sure then that this A graph is going to be skewed right. So I'm going to put this one, since I have all of this long tail to the right. So this one's going to go here in my skewed right section. Okay, so I'm kind of grouping all of those together. Yeah, and I think that this B is also going to be more skewed right. Okay, so I'm going to put that there in that section. B is a little more skewed right, and here's why. Because I see this is a longer amount, so that's going to be more spread out. This is more condensed over here to the left. So I see that as being more on the skewed right side. Let's see here. What does C appear to be? This one here has a little more skewed left. This one is also probably a little more skewed left. Okay, so those two are going to come over here in this skewed left section. Running out of room here. And so on. So you can kind of see the process. Now these four appear to be a little bit more symmetric. Okay, now once you have gotten all of your different shapes kind of lumped together, then you can start addressing the range, which would affect the standard deviation. So you want to see how closely things are comparing. For example, on these two problems that are skewed left, one of them has a standard deviation of 30, one of them has a standard deviation of 17. So you want to, at that point, take a look at the actual values and numbers on these graphs, you know, and consider. So I can tell, look at here, these are much further away from the, you know, relative center here somewhere, okay? And this has data clustered much more closely to this center. So I would say this one's going to have our smaller standard deviation. So I'm going to definitely pair that one with the data with the smaller standard deviation. Likewise, you can see even the ranges here, you know, as compared to this and such. So then you're going to be using those numerical clues to do that. So, in summary, your process and your steps are these. Number one, identify shape. Okay, and you are doing this by comparing the mean to the median. And then also just the way that the skew on the histogram and the box plot look. So identify the shape. Once you have identified the shape, then you're going to maybe compare the spread, okay, by looking at the size of the standard deviation, so comparing those. Additionally, then you're going to be looking at those numerical values for any other details that you are having difficulty connecting. So you're looking at those numerical values, which also are giving you, some information about the spread and the center and the range and all those kinds of things. So what I want you to do for the rest of class is to cut your activity up. Okay? What you may want to do before you cut your activity up is put your initials on the back of the card so that if they drop and you're, next to your friends, so put your initials on the back of each card. So then we can find yours. After you cut those up, then if you do not have any time left, then you have a baggie to put your activity in. But your homework tonight, whether you finish it in class or whether you classwork or homework, depending on how much time you have, is to get a triple of one set of data, one histogram, and one box plot. And then what I want you to do with that is staple those, or paper clip them or something, or tape them, staple together as one group. Okay? Then we will check those. So there you go. So I want you to use your scissors, cut up your information. Let's try to, well, no, let's not try. Let us definitely keep all the trash off the floor. Pick up your trash. I'm not your maid. The janitorial staff here is not your personal maid. So pick up your trash and put in the trash can after you get done with all your cutting of your activities. Okay, that's it. So see if you can't match up those groups.